Good morning, beloveds. It is Sunday. I'm pretty sure I'm awake, but I'm not entirely sure. It is August 23rd, and we are getting close to the end of the month of vitality. And our title today is I Sense the Presence Within Me. The Spirit of God is an undivided and indivisible wholeness. It fills all time with its presence and peoples all space with the activity of its thought. Your endeavor then is not as so much to find God as it is to realize His presence and to understand that His presence is always with you. Nothing can be nearer to you than that which is the very essence of your being. Your outward search for God culminates in the greatest of all possible discoveries, the finding of Him at the center of your own being. Life flows up from within you. Say, I know that my search is over. I am consciously aware of the presence of Spirit. I have discovered the great reality. I am awake to the realization of this presence. There is but one life. Today I see it reflected in every form, back of every countenance, moving through every act, knowing that the divine presence is in everyone I meet, the Spirit in all people. I salute the good in everything. I recognize that the life of God, responding to me from every person I meet, in every event that transpires, in every circumstance in my experience. I feel the warmth and color of this divine presence, forevermore pressing against me, furthermore welling up from within me, the wellspring of the eternal being, present yesterday, today, tomorrow, and always. Well then. Okay. Ernest likes to make me work for these things. All right. I sense the divine presence within me. That was the title. And then he goes on to pretty much prove it. The Spirit of God is an undivided and indivisible wholeness. Undivided, indivisible. It's not, and so basically it exists across all time and space. It fills all time with its presence, and here's the next one. It peoples all space with the activity of its thought. It's an interesting way to think about it. The Spirit of God peoples all space with the activity of its thought. Your endeavor, then, is not so much to find God, because you are part of God. You are made from God's stuff, so you can't find what you are. What you have to do is realize what you are. So your endeavor then is not so much to find God as it is to realize His presence and to understand that this presence is always with you. There is nowhere that is not within God. There is nowhere that is not God. There is no one who is not made up of God's stuff. Everyone you meet, everything you touch, that's all God's stuff. And the trick is to become consciously aware of it, to realize that you are a divine splinter. Nothing can be nearer to you than that which is the very essence of your being. I mean, that right there. Nothing can be nearer to you than the essence of your own being. Rumi, I believe, said, either Rumi or Hafiz, because I get the two of them confused, said that God is nearer to me than my own jugular. So, you start to look inside yourself and go, oh, wait, that's God. Yeah, you're made up of God's stuff. the spirit that animates you is God, or spirit, whichever word you want to use, and everything around you. There is nothing that is not. There is nowhere you can go that is not. Your outward search for God culminates in the greatest of all possible discoveries, the finding of Him at the center of your own being. So, when you make that outward search for God, it can be fascinating and it can be terrible or terrifying, because what you will find when you make the outward search for God is that you will find all of these various expressions of God across the world. There is no culture that does not have some idea of what God is. And that's where it can get terrifying. It can be terrifying and beautiful. I had a book, and I think it was titled, it was either The 1,000 Faces of God or The 10,000 Faces of God, which Ruth now has. And what it was is exactly what it sounds like. It was pictures from across the world that people had painted of what they thought God looked like. Open up any mythology book. Look at the art in museums and you will get the idea of what people thought gods looked like. And sometimes they thought that there was one God, and sometimes they thought there were a lot of gods. Because God was too big to just be one. Look at the Greeks and the Romans. The Egyptians, they went both ways. They had multiple gods and then they had one God. And then when you look at the Hindus went, well, there's one God. But we are too small and limited to handle one God. So what we do is we interact with aspects of God, which is why the Hindus have so many gods. They recognize they have one God, but that God is too much to handle, so that God divides itself down into an aspect that we can interact with. God is capable of division, we are not, but it's still one God. So that's what I mean by terrifying and beautiful, because you look across the world and see all of these beautiful aspects of God, beautiful ideas of God, and you also see all of these terrible ideas of God. You can walk to the church down the street and see both. You can walk into some of the churches in Eastern Europe and see these beautiful icons of God. And then you can hear what they teach about God and go, whoa. So where is God? Right here. Right here. All of the outward aspects are just that. They are aspects of the one. They are our limited understanding of God. The only way to truly understand God is within. Life flows up from within you. All right, so on to the treatment. I know that my search is over. I am consciously aware of the presence of spirit. I have discovered the great reality. I am awake to the realization of this presence. There is but one life. There is but one life. Today I see it reflected in every form, back of every countenance, moving through every act. That right there, today I see it. Today I see it. Today I see God reflected in every form. Today I see God, the back of every countenance. Today I see God moving through every act. Think about that for a minute. Think about walking through your life and every person you see God looking back at you. Think about every living being, living thing, trees and animals and birds and insects, and that's God moving through whatever it is that God is doing, which is so far beyond us that, how can we even fathom? And then every form that you touch, that's made of God's stuff. That's, God, because it's all the same stuff. It's mind-blowing and mind-numbing. Knowing that the divine presence is in everyone I meet, the Spirit in all people, I salute the good in everything. I recognize the life of God responding to me from every person I meet. So when you meet people who do not respond in the nicest way, in the healthiest way, realize that you are meeting unhealed people, people who are not aware of who and what they are. And bless them and send them on their way. It is not your job to fix everyone you meet. It is your job to bless everyone you meet. And when you meet someone who is unhealed and you meet someone who does not know who they are, the best that you can do is bless them, even if you do it silently, so that they come to discover who they are at the center of their being. That they come to consciously recognize that they are part of a greater whole. Okay, so I recognize the life of God responding to me from every person I meet, in every event that transpires. Again, when things happen that aren't good, remember that is unhealed people who don't know who they are, using a law that does not judge. In every circumstance in my experience, I feel the warmth and color of this divine presence forevermore pressing against me. If I feel the warmth and color of that presence pressing against me, then I can know that warmth and presence pressing against everyone, especially the unhealed. That is a gift that I can give. You may not always be conscious of the warmth in the present. So when you act in such a way that is counter to that warmth and presence, then the gift that I can give you is to know that for you until you are ready to know it for yourself. So I feel the warmth and color of this divine presence forevermore pressing against me, forevermore welling up from within me. Life comes from within. Consciously knowing the essence of your being comes from within. The outward expressions can only show you a part of the picture, never the whole picture. To see the whole picture of God, you have to go within. The wellspring of the eternal being present today, present yesterday, today, tomorrow, and always. God is not bound by time nor space because God created both. God created both to have the experience that it is having of you right now. All right. So our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to be consciously aware of the presence of Spirit. To be consciously aware that this presence of Spirit is the essence of our being and the essence of everything around us. And yes, if you are conscious of that 24/7, it could make you crazy. So, we can make it a low-level consciousness. I am consciously aware of it at a heart level. And it informs my activity, but it informs it on a level that I can move through this world and do what I need to do. So I am always conscious at the back of my mind that it's all God. And that when that knowledge is needed in the forefront, it comes quickly and easily to the forefront of my consciousness. But I'm always consciously aware of it. And that's my treatment for myself, so that I carry that consciousness all the time deep within me. And as I stated, when I need it to come to the forefront, it comes quickly and easily. So I can respond to things instead of react to things. And I can do it from a God consciousness. All right, I'm going to move on to the process of my day, mostly because I'm watching a cat who is probably about to jump on something and make a terrible racket. Welcome to Life with Cats. But I am going to remind you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like to you. Do something that engages your mind and your body. It's relatively cool. We could be in for some weather soon. You might consider opening your windows and getting some fresh air, or, taking a quick walk outside, because it's going to be right back to being hot in a couple of days. So I will, as I have been saying, encourage you to open the windows of your soul and allow that breath of heaven to waft over you, so that you realize that you are in heaven now. It is a consciousness. And know that you are the beloved child of God, in whom Spirit is well pleased, always and forever. And we will be back with you in a little under 2 hours with the live stream. It may look a little different today. We're going to try a slightly new format, so please check that out. And know that Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. today, and I will be back with you at 9 a.m. Have a fantastic day, beloveds.